Gotta say, I'm kinda surprised this is a game that exists. It's been 26 years since the last Donkey Kong 3D platformer. I thought Nintendo was content to let Donkey Kong as a character just kinda fizzle out after Tropical Freeze. But new life has been breathed into this monkey boy. He has a whole new world to explore. Knowing the Super Mario Odyssey team worked on this, I can't wait to see what wacky places he'll visit. Well, I already know what spots he visits. They're great, you're in for a treat. And of course, we got some weird spots. Buckle up, buckaroos. We're diving into Donkey Kong Bonanza, and this is Video Game World Tours. Apparently Donkey Kong left all his friends behind on DK Isle at some point in the past to visit this new place, Ingot Isle. You'll never guess what brought him here. You know me, we gotta talk about the area you start the game in. It's, well, there's not much to say about it. You're underground, which makes sense considering this game's mechanical focus of you punching through terrain. But this sets up for a nice reveal later. I've talked about it before, but we're currently at the beginning stages of the scale reveal. Games like this love to have you in tight and enclosed areas, only to surprise you with a vast expanse. Even when I played this for the first time and didn't know the upcoming stages, I could tell the game was setting me up for that. So we go through a bit and eventually reach a big drop-off into the main area of Ingot Isle. What a great view from up here. Once you fall down, you cannot return. Well, there's actually a couple points of no return before this, but this one feels so final, especially because you'll always be tempted by it down below. Remember when we were up there? It felt like only yesterday. Good memories. After recruiting an odd rock to join you, you can climb up the center tower. You know, I always thought it was charming that they kept this red girder motif around with Donkey Kong. It feels like something that easily could have been left behind in the original arcade game, and we never would have given it a second thought, but they still use it every now and then. I like it. Let's see, what signs do they have up around here? Poker chimps? Bed and banana? Karaoke? Solid joke. There's a monkey that can't get his drink from the vending machine. But then you absolutely obliterate it, and he's like, now that was satisfying. Don't you still want your juice, bro? There's a lot of empty space on the edges of the stage. It's a nice alternative to a bottomless pit, considering this is the first level. Though content-wise, it might as well be a bottomless pit. There's nothing here. Which is good in my eyes. It'd be annoying if they hid like one fossil down here, and you'd go crazy looking for it. This guy found a chest and is trying to open it. You barge in and smash it to pieces, but he's not upset. To the puncher goes the spoils, he says. A lot of characters are like that in this game. They'll be trying to get at something, and when you inevitably do it first, they concede and congratulate you. It has a nice, wholesome vibe to the game. They don't get angry that you stole their loot. They're just happy that you're happy. Not much else in this stage, it's pretty short. I do like how you can skip most of the tower climb if you know what you're doing. I'm glad this game has some schmovement like Odyssey does. We beat the boss and plunge deeper into the planet. By the way, we can never go back there. The Lagoon Layer. See, now this is what I was talking about. I just knew a big and expansive space was coming up. I mean, it's not like a Breath of the Wild style world for you to traverse, but the sky's stretching out into the distance. It has the same effect. You feel so free now. You can breathe. And yeah. I didn't really forget that we're underground. Kinda doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It reminds me of in Godzilla vs. Kong when they travel inside the Earth's crust to visit the interior of the Hollow Earth. Though in this game there's multiple layers to the Hollow Earth, with a lot of them having vast expanses like this. For however much sense it doesn't make, I'm glad they did this. It would get very boring having a whole game be underground. Even if they could decorate the rocks in different styles, it would just feel claustrophobic after a while. Stages like this are a nice break in between the closed-off areas. Down this hole is where the main story progression guides you, but if you're feeling particularly devious, you can just ignore it and go up there. I actually noticed the space up here during my first playthrough, but willingly went back and followed directions like a good little pretzel. But now I know that once you go down there, you eventually come back up here. With that knowledge, I can stay up here and go straight to the objective I'm supposed to come to later. It's not locked behind some arbitrary barrier that only gets unlocked when the developers deem it ready for you. It's always here, ready to be smashed. In fact, once you fall down there, you can skip even more by jumping straight to the Elder. No need to fix their water problem. I kinda love that this is in here. It feels intentional almost, that they knew this skip existed and left it in. It makes it feel like a real world, that there isn't some wall or force field that just happens to stop you from trying to do something like this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves though. Here's the hole you're intended to go down to reach the second level of the layer. You're put into a little village run by fisher monkeys. It's cute seeing the little societies that pop up in this world. Like, look at all the stuff they put up to decorate this space. These statues, the banners above, and these cooking utensils. That's a big thing with these guys. If you hop over to this floating island, you can see a monkey practice fishing with a magnet. How'd he get here? Dropping down below, you get to see some monkeys actually fishing. That's such an out there thing to include, monkeys fishing for silverware like that. I like it though, it gives these guys character. This guy caught a whole lot of them. This whole space kinda caught my eye during my playthrough. It's like what I showed off in Ingot Isle, just a bottom-full pit. I'm always drawn to spaces like this in games. There's nothing here, but it still feels important. It gives scale to the world. Without it, it'd be like the level above, where it feels like you're just on a floating island. Though, I guess we are technically kind of floating. Whatever, it doesn't feel like it as much with this space here. And sadly, it does get filled in later. Once you help with the water problem, the water level rises and you can't walk on the floor here anymore. Once I did that during my playthrough, I knew I'd have to make a new save just to show off this area for the video. I love showing off spots that you can't return to later. There's such an exclusivity to them. I hate to say it so early into my coverage of this game, but the next stage is genuinely my favorite in the game, the hilltop layer. Other layers definitely have a lot more going on, both thematically and mechanically, but the vibes of this one are just unmatched. First of all, the skybox. I mean, come on, look at this. It stretches out so far into the distance, and there's so much space between land masses. With what looks like clouds below, it feels like you're way up in the sky, like we're on a mountain peak. The grass is amazing. I love non-traditional grass colors in games. Basically, if it's anything other than green, I'll fall in love with it. What would you even call this? Teal? Maybe there's a hint of green in this, but you know what I mean. I love this look. And the play space is just so smooth. Rolling hills with not a lot to decorate them or break them up. Compared to the first level of the lagoon layer, there's so much going on here. So many rocks to break up the shape of the terrain and create corridors for you to follow. Here it's just open. If I was a Fractone, I'd be glad to call this place my home. I don't have much to say about this space. It's just chill. Though there is a sub-area I have to show off. Falling down into this chasm leads you to one of the game's challenge doors. There's a handful of these in each level, so you're used to seeing them by now. Going through, you see this one is named Nostalgia Country. I wonder if that means... Wow. Yeah, we get a nostalgic throwback to Donkey Kong Country. Look at the background there. It's like a perfect translation of the look from the original games. I get the creative desire to put characters in drastically new environments in your new game, but it's nice to see some familiar faces every now and then. This feels comfy. Hold on. Considering this is an homage to Donkey Kong Country, I bet you can... Yeah, that's awesome. I love how it seems like you might not even be able to climb up here at first because of the door you enter through. I came across Vinny Vinesauce's reaction to this stage somehow, and he says, "I don't think the treehouse is here. It doesn't look like it." But with a little movement, he figures out how to get up there. It's like a reward for people that are familiar with the first level in the original Donkey Kong Country, and people who are coming to grips with this game's movement relatively early. This is a top tier spot because of that. Got a picture of Donkey Kong and his friends. Love to see it. A Rambi plush. We'll see more of these a good bit later. And some more cooking utensils. I kinda wrote it off as a weird character quirk for the fisher monkeys back in the lagoon layer, but Donkey Kong is a fan of these too? Gotta say, I don't get it. But maybe I'm stupid. Should never rule that out. Also, you can completely demolish his house. Kinda feel bad for doing that now. Alright, that's the end of our little nostalgic trip. Ah, I know DKC levels. There's definitely something hidden up here. A cannon that shoots you back and gives you a little bit of gold. I'll take it. It's sad leaving this place, but the show must go on. Just before you head to the next layer, you can find a note left from the Exploratone. They're in search of the origin of the Fractones, and they plan on heading deeper to find answers. You'll find their notes in every stage, I think, and get to hear their perspective of the various environments and cultures they come across. I don't plan on updating you with every slab of theirs that exists. I just think it's neat that you can kinda journey alongside them. The canyon layer is the biggest layer thus far. 80 bananas to collect here, compared to 56 in the lagoon layer. Unfortunately, I don't have as much to say about this one. For whatever reason, it just doesn't vibe with me thematically. I'm sure some people out there resonate with this place. What it's going for, it does well. The colored smoke from the smokestacks really helps to give this predominantly red landscape some contrast. But I just don't have much to show off from a tour perspective. Though there are some things. For instance, it's cute that this stage features smokestacks predominantly, and it has them decorated with spots like a giraffe. Some of the Fractones are even giraffes. Great, love it. Another thing, there's a hole here where you can drop down to an enclosed cage above the level below. This reminds me of the paintings in Super Mario Odyssey you would find hidden around some levels that would take you to a future level. There was a collectible to get, and you could see the look of an upcoming area. But that was it, you couldn't actually make your way there. It's kinda funny how one of those spoiled a genuinely cool reveal. There's nothing like that in this game. You just get to see more of the current stage with bananas like this. This tunnel actually takes you to our next spot. A cannon shoots you back up onto a lonely rock island. This slab reveals that it's actually the refinery foreman's private property, and how we're not allowed to be here. Sorry, pal. I'll leave it the way I found it after we're done taking a look. I just think it's funny that this foreman character owns the land on this little isolated rock. Why? The getaway here is something Donkey Kong built. There was nothing when you first arrive. Though maybe he has great plans for it. I'll just be on my way. Next up is a bit of a curveball, the Divide. You hear the name, you see this screen that the game throws at you, you get the idea. This is just an intermission area where you get to pick the next layer to visit. Should we visit the forest layer next, or the freezer layer? Hold on, what about this layer? This is kinda interesting by itself. It's dreamlike. You have light pouring from above, streams of water too. And mysterious land masses way out in the distance. What could they look like up close? Look at that one over there. Rocks are stacked like a pyramid. It looks handcrafted, whatever it may be. Not much to see here either, but the vibes are definitely peak. For those that did play the game, which layer did you pick to explore first? I went with the freezer layer. I've seen Donkey Kong in jungle environments a million times in my life, and only seen him in cold environments like 750,000 times in my life. The cold won out. Gotta say, it is a very cool look. The texture and particle effects of the snow make it look so good. I bet it feels satisfying as hell to walk around here and feel this under your feet. The desaturated lights are awesome too. They give little highlights to the world while blending in well with all this white. Also, the railings for the stage here are made from zebra heads. Huh. It's kinda hard to see past this snowy haze, but there's a fan over there. Guess it makes sense, this is the freezer layer after all. We're just literally in a freezer. This feels like a level environment from Super Monkey Ball 2. In a game that has you in a boiling pot as well as a washing machine, a freezer would fit right in. As for spots, we definitely got some to show off. There's this building near the corner of the stage. Buildings on this level are made with layers of ice cream. Some of them have zebra heads at the top. Cute little thing they have going on there. But this one is special. It's taller than all the others. Most are only 1 ice cream scoop tall. There's a couple that are 2 tall, but this one is 3 ice cream scoops tall. I bet there's something crazy important in here to explain why this building towers over all the others. Oh, it's just a single room too. Okay, you know what? It has a banana underneath it. I guess that's something to make it distinct from the others? But why is it so tall? This is extremely important, and I won't go further into this video until I figure out why. Alright, I'm bored. There's a getaway you can build inside this main mountain here. Can I just say, it is so chill in here. The comfy vibes are off the charts. I already brought up how in love I am with the snow and these colored lights. Being in a secluded little cave just amplifies the coziness. Oh my god, in the snow tunnel? This is peak. This genuinely might be one of my favorite spots in the game. This is my happy place. I never want to leave. Unfortunately, I have to. Can't just spend the rest of the video hanging out in one spot, as cool as that might be. But maybe I could bring back the Video Game World Tour's Extended Stay series and spend 10 hours in just this tunnel. Leave a comment below if you want me to do that. I'll be sure to give it a thumbs down, report it, and remove it. A bit further into the stage, there's an ice cave you need to progress through. I like the vibes here too. You can see the lighting shift once you fully get in there. The ice below and around you turns to a deep, deep blue. Kinda makes me sleepy. This is comfy, but not quite as much as the last spot, sorry. Final spot to look at in this stage is the Cantor Creamery. This is the village that the Zebra Elder presides over. And I don't know, it's just quaint. They got this gate at the entrance that's kinda nice. Right to the left after entering are a bunch of tables to eat ice cream at. I was about to ridicule Donkey Kong for being too uncivilized to properly sit down in these chairs. But to my surprise, he actually does sit in them. I forgot there was a mechanic where you slowly heal if you sit on benches or chairs. Sorry for assuming you don't know what a chair was, DK. That was wrong of me. And I love these shops. There's so much detail with the ice creams all over. Spoiled for choice around here. All around lovely stage. Before visiting the final layer of the video, let's backtrack and explore the forest layer. Yep, it's a forest alright. Though in retrospect, it didn't really feel like a forest level. If anything, it felt more like a swamp level. There's this poison sludge stuff covering the bottom of the stage and it does a good bit of damage to you. That's what I remembered more than anything about this place. And unfortunately, I don't like swamp levels in games. If this was more of a peaceful forest, then I might have a more favorable view of this layer. Like what if you were floating way up above the clouds on some really tall trees? That could be cool. Maybe the primary enemy in the area would be birds and their nests that you have to deal with. Okay, I'm just writing fanfiction at this point. What actually is in the game here? There's one little foliage detail they use over and over that seems peculiar. It's this thing. It's a fuzzball with 2 branches reaching down to the ground. They almost look like legs. You can even see that the bottom of their feet look like bird feet. I don't know what, but this reminds me of some character out there, some creature design. The closest I can think is Doduo, but I don't think that's quite it. There's something out there that's more fuzzy, like this. Maybe it had eyes directly in the body? I can't remember. I genuinely could be having a mental break right now and fabricating memories that aren't there, but I feel like I've seen this before. Regardless, it's cute. Something I like that they did with this stage is that a lot of the trees and logs are in the shape of ostriches, the creatures that inhabit this place. It's cute to see them all dotted around the stage like they are. That lone one out in the middle of the swamp, poor fella. And a big one out there, look at that guy. Whew. I really love the track that plays in the Eggshell Hotel. I'm not a music guy, so when it comes to analyzing a world, that's the last thing I'll usually pay attention to. But I noticed it here. It's quite literally exactly what you'd expect to be playing inside a fancy hotel. It feels so welcoming. I'd want to buy a room here. Well, maybe if it weren't for all the ostriches. I feel like those animals hide such a power within them. I'd be too scared in this place. Final spot of the stage. This one's a doozy. We're entering another sub-area. Before you even see any of the stage, your ears are immediately hit with Peak, an absolutely stunning remix of Sticker Bush Symphony. Now look, I haven't played Donkey Kong Country 2, but I have a deep respect for this song. If you've been a fan of my videos for a while, you know I used to include chill and calm music from games in the background while I talk. This song playing right now is the quintessential one of those songs. When looking for new songs to add to my playlist back in the day, this is one of the ones I'd compare them to see if they'd match the vibes of my videos, because this style of music perfectly fits it. Nowadays, I don't do that because of Content ID stuff. I'm happy with the replacement stuff I've found, but I will always have a soft spot for this type of music, especially this song. Among all chill video game songs out there, this is easily in the top 5. Aquatic Ambience from DKC1 is also there. David Wise was cooking back in the day. And I feel like it's also important to mention the visuals. The look for Bramble Blast in DKC2 is so iconic. It's just weird and out there. All these spiky vines kind of create tension, but the song and blue sky also calm you. It's a weird juxtaposition that works. Needless to say, I love this little challenge area. And the stage as a whole isn't the worst thing in the world, I guess. Alright, the final layer of the video. And don't worry, it's a small one. Once you complete either the freezer layer or forest layer, you're dropped into the junction. As you come out, you're immediately greeted with the exit of the layer you didn't choose in the distance. Once you get here, you're told to go back and complete the layer you skipped over previously. Half of the level is blocked off, and you need to go back to clear it. It's kinda sad. I came from the freezer layer and saw a Fractone hanging out with his buddy. Only his buddy was on the forest layer side and was sealed away. These are emotional stakes. Game developers, take note. Of course I had to free him. Before you go through the story of this area, there's a huge landmass in the distance. I was kinda hoping that I'd get to walk all over there and cover it for this video. Unfortunately, once you beat the boss, it all sinks further into the planet. Though this is a kinda interesting spot by itself, overlooking this massive hole. As for the rest of the space, it's a nice contrast with the divide. That had blue all over, and this is bathed in pink. Only there are no mountains in the distance like before. It's just empty here, save for some banandium roots that reach up. No structures to see far away and ponder about what might lay on them. It's just you. Once I 100% this game, I'll put out another video covering the rest of the layers and any interesting spots I may have missed in the ones we looked at today. I want to see all of what Donkey Kong Bonanza has to offer before we return. It'll be great. Get subscribed to see it. The moral of today's story? The early bird gets the worm. See you next time, guys.